Let's Play!
Hi guys, and welcome back to Let's Play Narcissu. We left the highway at Samoto Interchange, near the center of Wajishima. Well, here we are. Yeah. It had been 10 days and 900 kilometers since we came down from the 7th floor. It had taken us the best part of a week to pick a destination. Yet, from that first casual mention of the name, on that rainy night on the Ibaraki lay-by, it had in a sense been inevitable that we'd end up here. Which way now? South. South it is. I let her guide me down across the island. To be perfectly honest, now that we come this far, I could have navigated the rest by myself. There are plenty of tourist signposts and not many roads, but I let her guide me nonetheless. I felt I had to. Nothing else? She seemed to enjoy it. Well, there we go. Chapter 7, Narcissus. We had found an empty beach as the sun began to set, an expanse of sand stretching down to the sea from a fringe of rustling pines. I took the car down onto it, and we swapped seats. Is the seat far enough forward? Can you reach the clutch? I'm fine. Okay, first, change into second. I know that much. Sorry, didn't mean to fuss. Just let me think. She stretched out her feet to the pedals and shifted her hands on the wheel. I was leaning over slightly to watch. Good. Now let the clutch in slowly. Right. She began nervously to do just that. What? The result is, predictably, really rather noisy and uncomfortable. Try and relax. You need to let the clutch in gently. Try to keep the revs even. I know. She probably did. There's a big difference between knowing the theory and actually doing a thing. Her usually expressionless face was wrinkled with concentration. She was even biting her lip. I couldn't help but think that was really rather cute. Hey, relax a little. Dancing up isn't gonna help. I know. Things didn't get much quieter as the evening progressed. That was mostly the fault of the cracked silencer. The engine's pained roaring reverberated across the bay. It was a good thing that no one else was around, for their sakes. Now, it was about the time when the sunset shifts into night, about the time when the failing sea breeze dies, the land breeze picks up in its stead. The moon had risen, starting to wane. I reckon you pretty much got the hang of it. Yeah. She shifted smoothly into third. She had the knack now. It's a shame that her brief experience of self-determination had to be confined to this narrow beach. You know what? I reckon you wouldn't need lessons. You could pass your test right now. Do you think so? Well, I don't know if I'm much of a judge, seeing as I only passed mine, but still. It's a futile thought. We both knew it. She was never going to have a license, and mine wasn't going to be seeing much more use. We had maps, we had medicine, we had a really rather fine car, if slightly noisy at the moment. But we had no time, and no futures. In a way, knowing what we were missing out on only made things worse. Tell you what, I'll give you mine instead. I reached into my pocket for it. The license I thought I'd never get a chance to use. The memento of the normal life I'd already lost. Here, well done. Have a license. Even if I had one, I don't have time to use it. And I do? Go on, take it. Our wristbands were white ones from the 7th floor. The place of high ceilings, narrow windows, and inexorable fate. Your third time there was the end. She'd been on her second, and I on my first. Just take it. Congratulations, you passed. Thanks. She relented, bowing her head slightly, and accepted it. Now we could say that she, too, was a full license holder. That she could drive anything she liked. Not just this coupe, but saloons, convertibles, hatchbacks. That she could go anywhere. Anywhere she liked. From there, we hardly had to travel any distance at all. We arrived at our final destination, a place where we could find the daffodils we'd come all this way to see. It was supposedly a tourist spot, but for some reason, whether it was the remoteness of the spot or the lateness of the hour, for some reason, we were the only people here. We sat side by side in the still night, waiting for dawn. Can't we even have the light on? Sorry, the battery's a bit low. Fair enough. With the engine off, the only illumination was a dull phosphorescent glow on the dashboard. It revealed silhouettes, nothing more. We sat in silence, in the darkness, in the cramped interior, barely speaking. It was chilly, even though we didn't provide blankets with thicker items of laundry off the back seat. Are you cold? A bit. Why not come closer? We could keep each other warm. Eh? Come on, don't be silly. I spread my arms encouragingly. She was plainly shivering after all. It's freezing in here, right? Not really. I'll be fine. She was bluffing. I could see the white mist of her breath. I could see her silhouette trembling with cold. Or is it you that wants someone to keep you warm? Huh! Well, it would be nice. Oh, alright then. Reluctantly, she crawled across the car, curled up on top of me. See? I told you it would be warmer. Certainly cold out. The windscreen had steamed up completely with our breath. With that, and the blackness of the night, I could see nothing outside. Couldn't be long till dawn, though. Hopefully, it would be worth the wait. Dawn came early. Her rosy fingers tore the purple of the night to reveal a sky of milky white. Then, as the light spread above us, so before us spread a host of whiter flowers. The blackness that had filled the place until this moment had been replaced with a sea of white and gold. We instinctively clambered out of the car to get a better look. Not bad. Yeah. Unnumbered daffodils lay before us, their petals growing brighter as the morning sun dried away the dew. They covered the slopes on every side, a carpet that appeared to continue to the very edge of the sea. It was amidst the scene that we spoke, our words floating away in puffs of mist every bit as white as the flowers at our feet. This was a sight we traveled so far to see, in a journey that had, in a sense, begun long before we left, on that dreary day when we've seen those flowers trapped on that television screen. Are these the right kind? Yes, these are exactly the same. Good. I'm glad we found them. I was no botanist. To my eyes, these look completely different. In size, the forms of their heads, they look completely different from the dense and uniform field on which that TV screen had focused. But there they were. They're so pretty. Yeah. They were there. In this world overflowing with things the eye could not see. With tedium, ambiguity, with mundanity, with harsh and implacable reality. There they were. They were there. I keep saying there they were. In this world filled with things unobtainable, intangible, unreachable, they were there, right there, physically and before our eyes. But shards of those other invisible things lay scattered all around. January 31st, Wajishima. It rained incessantly, pouring drearily down from that white January sky. Though 2 days had passed, we were in the same place. We couldn't leave. She was coughing now. Oi, are you alright? Yeah, maybe. She was fainting. The way she was lying, I couldn't move the car without disturbing her. She was still taking that medication, but either it had stopped working, she was beyond what it could help. That was only natural. We were people of the 7th floor. However healthy we had been at first, decline was certain and inevitable. We could go back. I could take you back. Do you want to? I almost do. To the 7th floor? Or to your family? I didn't know. All I knew was that this was inevitable. I knew I would come to the same point myself sooner or later. That didn't make it any easier to watch it happening. Still it rained, pouring down on the darkness. The flowers outside were dimly visible, their every petal dripping. Those things. I pointed out through the windscreen at them. Those daffodils. It was Narcissu you called them, wasn't it? Yeah, after Narcissus. Narcissus? I thought I recognized the name, though I couldn't say I was exactly familiar with it. Isn't that like in Narcissism? Yeah, they're both named after the same myth. I can only vaguely remember it. She obviously realized, because she went on to explain. There was a man called Narcissus. He was so handsome that everyone who saw him fell in love with him. The one who loved him most was a nymph called Echo. She couldn't tell him. Why not? She couldn't say anything herself. She could only repeat what other people said. But Narcissus didn't love anyone. So he never said anything. He never said, I love you. So Echo couldn't say it either. She had reverted to her usual manner. The sad, despairing voice, the distant eyes. But this time she kept talking. She got desperate. However much she longed for him, her dream was never ever going to come true. So in the end, she cursed him. Oh, I remember now. Didn't he fall in love with his own reflection? Or something? Yes, in a pool. He just stared at himself till he died. Then he turned into a flower. That's why they're called Narcissi. Her story over, she fell quiet. The only sound now was her shallow breathing. To me, that made the tale all the more saddening. I saw ourselves in that nymph, longing hopelessly for something we could never have. What about Echo? What happened to her? She was already gone. She disappeared when she set her curse on him. She disappeared? Then what was the point of it? Her curse had gained nothing. All it did was make Narcissus share her misfortune. Are you okay? Yeah, but you're different, aren't you? What? Don't you remember? The time you asked me whether I cursed my fate? You said you hadn't. No. Because I'd already given up. Time had stopped for me. I passed all those seasons under that overcast sky, without need to speak to anyone. I wonder how long I've been alone. Though I close my eyes, the world remains. Nor would plugging my ears stop the pounding of the rain. I knew that. I wasn't jealous of that cover, for all its happy smiles, its emerald sea, its pretty bikini. I could close my eyes and go to a world, or I could have them too, where I could go anywhere without a map or a car. Though the scar on my breast told me otherwise, though I was echo to Narcissus of reality. I won't desire it. I won't curse it. Even though I was determined to let go of the world. My heart moved, and my time moved, though they should both have been still. Even though now, more than ever, it It would be soon, it would blah 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 blah. It would soon be over, whatever I did. I knew about wounds. The deeper they are, the longer they take to heal. So if you withdraw slowly over a long period of time, doesn't that mean it's too late to undo the past? So, what will become of me after these 22 years of my life? She was coughing now. Oi, are you alright? In the faint pre-dawn light, I reached across the passenger seat and laid my hand gently on her back. We've been here for another 2 days already, and her medicine was running out. It had been having less and less effect anyway, but it was still better than nothing, I thought. I had to find another pharmacy, but as I reached out to turn the keys in the ignition, don't. She stopped me. We've got to. I can't just let you. It's not doing anything now. Even so, maybe it's all that's... No, she was right. Drugs didn't work, not anymore. That only made it harder to sit and watch. Then, why don't we go somewhere else? Well, we can. Somewhere else? Sure, there must be loads of other places to see around here. What do you think, shall we? I don't mind where. Why don't you choose somewhere and guide us there? I was trying to speak cheerfully. It sounded stupid and forced even to me. I knew it wasn't going to help. But still, I couldn't help but try to cheer her up. To focus her eyes back on this world, on happiness. She only had 2 more days of medicine. She only had 3... If she only had 2 more days of medicine, and she only had 3 more days altogether. I didn't want to think about that, but I knew it was a fact. Go on, tell me. There must be somewhere, right? Not really. Oh, then you liked driving, didn't you? Don't you want another go? Somewhere you can go faster? Not really. Then, okay then. Let's go buy some new clothes. You'd like that, wouldn't you? No. Not really. Really? Not really? She was staring out the window again. Not at the Narcissu in front of us, but into the distance again. Almost into infinity, like she used to before. Her face was expressionless again. Not that sweet, confused mixture of blush and pout that she'd shown me from time to time. Why not? Why don't you ever really want anything? Why don't you try looking at things positively for once? I was shouting. For some reason, I was sad. I couldn't understand it. I thought I was dispassionate. I thought I could avoid seeing reality. But I could see it now, and it hurt. Silence returned to the car. Outside in the darkness, the pre-dawn breeze ruffled through the flowers. The January flowers, daffodils, narcissi. The flowered slopes continued into the distance, but if her eyes were focused on anything, it was further still, and the only sound was the distant roar of the waves. Because I can't. Eh? Suddenly, unexpectedly, she was replying. It's all very well wanting things, and looking forward to them. Trying to get them, if you manage. What do you do when you don't get them? Just laugh it off like, oh well, I guess it wasn't meant to happen. I can't do that. I'm not brave enough. Her eyes, which were usually so distant, were now focused directly on me. I had to give up straight away. I couldn't dare to hope for anything. Because if I didn't get it, I wouldn't be able to look at myself and say, oh well, at least I tried. You know what? It's been 20 minutes. I thought I was going to get to the ending. So I think we'll call it for a part. See you guys next time on Let's Play Narcissu. Might be the final part. Who knows? See you guys next time. Ciao.